Hi Virgo, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your December 2020 love reading. Thank you to those of you who have liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. As far as personal readings go, I'll probably bring those back in January, just to give you an update there. As far as what we have in front of us, this is what I call the Bridging the Gap spread, and the way it works is the cards on the left side represent your energy toward the connection with your main love interest. Cards on the right side represent their energy toward the connection. These are past energies, present energies, future energies, and once we get through all those, we'll actually pull some oracle cards for some additional insight. That's where the bridging the gap dynamic comes into play. As far as the decks being used, on the left side we have the Lover's Path Tarot, on the right side we have the Tarot Sexual Magic. And also keep in mind it's a general reading, so I'm going to be referring to the cards on the left as your energy and the cards on the right as their energy. If you feel more like those energies should be swapped, then trust that. Alright, so with all that out of the way, past energy on your side, we have Fortune, which is the equivalent of the Wheel of Fortune, and Four of Arrows, which is Libra energy. So it could just be saying that you might have actually had some healing around this connection in the past, or for some of you could even say that this connection brought some healing to you. The reason I'm focusing on the healing is because we see the Four of Arrows there. Similar to the original artwork, but obviously we see two people together in this deck. So Four of Swords in general, or Four of Arrows in this case, represent healing to begin with, usually after a Three of Swords situation. And combine that with the Fortune energy, I feel like there was just some kind of healing that you guys went through. Like I said, whether this connection brought you healing or was healing from some situation within this connection, that's what I'm primarily seeing there. It could be as simple as you might have heard a song, since we do see the artwork there, and it looks like that figure isn't physically in the room with her, so you might have just heard a song that might have reminded you of this person and gave you a different perspective on the situation, for example. That's one of the ways it could play out. We're about to have that full moon eclipse in Gemini in a couple of days, so it might even be around that time for those of you where you haven't experienced that yet. Or for some of you could even go back as far as to when we were in mid-October, toward the end of Libra season. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing there. Alright, in the past position on their side, we have Temperance. So this is actually the major arcana card for Sagittarius. So we see Jupiter energy there, Sagittarius energy here. Some of you could definitely be dealing with a Sagittarius. Obviously, we're now in Sagittarius season, of course, so there's that too. But this represents balance. Could be as simple, if we just look at the artwork there, it could be as simple as you guys might have gone out for a couple of drinks and talked things over, right? Maybe had some healing around the situation. But yeah, either way, to me, I do see this as this person putting in some effort to heal the connection with you. And like I said, for some of you, it can be that there was a falling out that you guys might have had together, and there was some healing around that. Or if you were just going through a rough situation, this person might have come along and brought some healing to you outside of that. So that's what I'm seeing there. All right, in the present position, we have the Queen of Arrows, which is the equivalent of the Queen of Swords, Libra energy, and Princess of Arrows, which is the equivalent of the Page of Swords. So, we do see the name Venus here, and like I said, obviously this is the court card that represents Libra, and for a lot of you, really as Virgos, you might have at least one Libra placement, like your Mercury or your Venus, for example. But yeah, what I'm seeing here primarily is, could be a couple of different things this could be saying. One could be saying that you're trying to keep your cool on the surface, if we look at the body language she has there. But underneath the surface, you're a little bit nervous around this person. There's even butterflies in the picture, right? So could be that, you're trying to play it cool on the surface, but really this person might give you butterflies. You might feel a little bit nervous around them. Maybe you don't always say the right things around them, right? That's a few different ways it could be playing out. For others of you, though, it could just be saying that, maybe for a while you've been in this position where you've just been staying in a receptive mode and not really communicate your feelings, but now you're deciding to actually work up the nerve to communicate your feelings to them, because we look at the body language there. She has her back turned, but she's kind of leaning and looking that way a little bit, if you can see that. No, it won't focus, but she's looking that way a little bit, and then here we see she's clearly facing them, but then there's that, to me the butterflies really stands out to me in this card this time around. So could be you guys are trying to communicate to them, but Maybe you're a little bit nervous about letting them know how you feel. All right, the present energy on their side, we have the Emperor, which is a major arcana card for Aries, Six of Swords, which is Aquarius energy, and Two of Cups, which is Cancer energy. So, really what I'm seeing here is it could just be saying that this person might have been pretty closed off around their feelings as well. Obviously I feel like they probably did have them, but it could be as simple as, especially if this is an Aries that you're dealing with, maybe the Mars retrograde, they might not have been feeling as expressive. They might have felt a bit out of sorts. But with the Six of Swords, I see this pointing to, moving to calmer waters usually, and then kind of like a restoring peace type energy. So even though I did see that in the past, could just be saying that maybe for some of you, they were still digging their feet in a bit and not really communicating to you. But with the Two of Cups, it looks like they're definitely going to be more open and expressive towards you regarding their feelings as well. So really in the present, looks like both of you guys are, approaching things from a different angle and being a bit more open and upfront about your feelings. Whereas in the past, that may not have been the case. All right, future energy on your side, we have Power, which is actually the equivalent to the Emperor. So again, we see Aries energy on your side this time. Six of Arrows, so actually two cards that they had on their side in the present you have in the future. Ace of Arrows and Temptation. So this is interesting. On the one hand, there is the fact that it stands out to me that both of these cards were in their present position. So this could definitely be pointing to your energy with them. So for some of you, could just be saying that maybe you guys, restore to peace, things are going well. But for whatever reason, with this Ace of Arrows followed by the Temptation, I feel like they're saying that there might be something or someone still in the picture that you might, still have this pull toward. Now, actually, another way I could see this playing out too, well, it's kind of related. What stands out to me is this is the Six of Arrows. She has 5 in the boat with her, and she's dropping that 1 into the water. So to me, that could almost represent that Ace of Arrows, which is to say, you guys might be on the path to healing the connection, right? Things might be going smoothly. But the fact that she's dropping that and we immediately see the Ace of Arrows after with Temptation could just be saying that you guys might have like a bad habit that you might have a tendency to get into when you are getting into relationships. So this could just be saying, all right, you guys are finally on the same page, right? Things are moving together well. And then there could just be something, or like I said, something or someone that might just cause a blockage for you. Now, for some of you with the Ace of Arrows popping up here, I could just see that as it's saying that you come to that realization and you're able to stop yourselves. Like, oh, wait a minute. All right, everything was moving in the right direction, right? There was some healing going on, but all of a sudden I have this trigger or whatever, right? But you actually catch it in time before you let it impact you. But for others of you, it does look like that might actually cause an issue again within the connection. So just something to think about there. And future energy on their side, we have the Magician. So this represents usually having all the tools at your disposal, knowing how to use them. So to me, this is just representing, if nothing else, this person seems to have a lot of confidence. The Emperor can also point to confidence, and even the Temperance card. But in the case of the Emperor, of course, there could be a little bit stubborn confidence sometimes, and not always as team-oriented, let's say. But that's what I'm seeing here. So it looks like this person does have confidence around the connection, and we did see the Two of Cups there too. So it does seem like there's genuine feelings on their part. Trying to see what else comes to mind with this. Yeah, for some of you, it could just be pointing to the fact that this might have been something that they wanted to manifest, and they actually made it happen. Like I said, for some of you, given that we did see the Ace of Swords before that Devil card, you might catch yourselves if there is something that you tend to do and tend to lean on that might sabotage connections. So you might be able to avoid that. Could just be saying that this person's willing and able to overcome that as well if you have some kind of weird hang up. But that's what I'm seeing there. Bottom of the deck on your side, we have Transformation. So this is the equivalent of the Death card. And we do see the names Pluto and Persephone on the card, so could just be saying that this might have been the dynamic you guys were involved in, where it was an on again, off again thing. Maybe there's distance between the two of you too, so maybe that's what the Jupiter and Sagittarius energies we're seeing are about. So maybe you guys just have that off again, on again dynamic where maybe they might be in the same town as you for a certain part of the year, but then they might have to go somewhere else for work or something along those lines. So could be a pattern you guys are trapped in. But also, what stands out to me is the fact that this is Scorpio energy, which for you guys is your third house communication. And we're going to have that, like I said, full moon eclipse in a couple of days in Gemini, which is the natural third house. So it could just be a connection there, saying that maybe some conversation you guys have around that eclipse, or possibly even an insight that you might have around that time, might actually give you a different perspective on things. And we do have Venus moving through that sign for, I think, at least a couple weeks of December before it moves into Sag. So it could be pointing to that as well, where it's a good time to actually express yourselves and get things on track. And I do have to say, beneath that, we have the Seven of Cups too, which is more Scorpio energy, but definitely represents some confusion. So definitely watch out for that Ace of Swords energy, because it might actually stop you guys if there is some kind of, like I said, some self-sabotage tendency you guys might have in connections. On their side, we see the Two of Pentacles, which is Capricorn energy. And especially in this deck in particular, I mean, in pretty much every deck, the Two of Pentacles can represent that wishy-washy energy, indecisive a bit, juggling, trying to decide between two things. But here we see, if we just look at the body language of the two people, it looks like the guy's approaching her, but he, seems really hesitant, right? Not too sure of himself. So it could just be saying that this might have been the energy this person was in the past, but I definitely see seems to me like they're coming out of that. Now, for some of you, it might be because you guys finally open up, but for others of you, it could just be that they, for whatever reason, come out of that energy and feel a lot more confident. So that's what I see there. All right, moving on to the Oracle cards. First, we'll see if we get anything from Aqua Moonlight deck here. I did pre-shuffle this deck. And what I'm going to be looking for, actually, is some unspoken messages from you to them, and then from them to you. And if I shuffle for a while and nothing comes up, I'll just move on to the next deck. But sometimes we get some additional messages here. So we'll see if we get anything. Like I said, first we're looking for unspoken messages from you to them. All right, almost had one there. So I'll give it a few more shuffles, and if nothing comes up, we'll just check their side. All right, so yeah, we'll see if we get any unspoken messages from them to you. Oh, already got one, so that was easy. Okay. All right, so the card you guys got for their side is Play. It says, I just want to have fun with you. So I will say the Temperance energy to me definitely comes across a bit playful. The Emperor maybe not so much, right? But like we said, we do see a shift there with that Six of Swords energy, where they're like, okay, let's move out of that energy. And the Two of Cups is definitely a lot more open, loving energy. So, nothing groundbreaking there, but definitely a overall positive message. So hopefully that resonated for you guys. And lastly, we'll pull a card from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck here. And same situation as far as I pre-shuffled it, but here I'm just looking for one card with general advice, and we'll wrap up. There we go. Okay. We have mending. There is the artwork, and the number is 52. So for a lot of you, it seems like that process might have already began. If not, it looks like it's going to start very soon, but we'll see what the messages say there. Okay, it says forgiveness, making amends, healing after arguments. The Oracle's message. Each time we are hurt and allow the hurt to pass through us without understanding and integration, we accumulate an unwanted burden. This keeps us chained to the very things we need to heal: the pain, the memories, the echoes of resentments, and the arguments that we rehearse over and over. Now is the time for mending rifts, healing wounds, and letting go of the old hurts in order to reclaim your power. Now is the time to forgive, to release, to make peace, and to make amends to others. Set yourself free. So definitely a pretty positive message there. And like I said, for some of you, it looks like that already has started. But if not, maybe even as soon as that eclipse, we'll see in a couple of days, things might start to shift there. The relationship message says you've come to a place where forgiveness is necessary if you're to move forward. Separate or together, you and the other person are still experiencing the effects of a hurt that is impacting everything you do, even if you're not aware of it. The energy needs to clear. What must you do to bridge this gap? Closing your heart is not the answer. You have the power to heal this wound. Ask yourself, what would love do? Only good will come of forgiveness and an honest redress. So definitely a pretty positive message there as well. I mean, like we said, we see Jupiter energy, we see Venus energy. For them, when they have that Two of Cups, Temperance, Magician. So there's definitely a lot of positive cards there. The only thing, like I said, that could be a hiccup is that Devil card, Temptation as it's called in this deck, at the bottom of that stack. But with that Ace of Swords, I feel like it's saying for a lot of you, you guys might catch yourselves if there is some weird tendency you might have to sabotage in situations like that. And of course, their Oracle card says they want to have fun too. So hopefully this resonates with you guys. Sounds like a pretty good reading overall. We'll wrap up there. Happy New Year to you guys, and I'll see you all next year. All right, bye.